how did you, manage
I did.
to be able to?
I did. I acted out.
Okay.
I went wild. I got in the streets.
In what ways?
Any way you can name other than murder. So you name it, I did it.
Welcome to Business Unbuttoned. We are back. I know it's been some time, but we have a hitter right here. I'm here with Todd Gregory, author, life and business coach, and motivational speaker. Thank you, Todd, for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Tim. I appreciate it.
So let's start off first. Can you kind of tell me where you were born and a little bit about your background?
Sure. I was born in Bloomington, Indiana. And around the age of 2 years old, my mother moved me to St. Louis, Missouri, to be near her family.
What were some of your first memories?
Well, it was pretty good because, my mom comes from a large family, so it was 7 of them. And I had lots of cousins around the same age. So it was almost like chronological order where we were like right behind each other. So I had like instant friends, instant people to play with over the summer and weekends and holidays. So that part was good. St. Louis can be rough depending on what area you grew up in, but really close-knit. It's not as country and, hillbilly as people think. I grew up in St. Louis, which is like any other metropolitan city, Chicago, Detroit, any place like that. The lines are heavily drawn, black and white.
Okay.
I didn't grow up seeing a lot of other people. I had a couple of Native American, Indian, even like Czechoslovakian type, but I didn't grow up around a lot of Hispanics and Latin people until I got older. There weren't a lot in those days. I'm an 80s baby where I, had that ethnicity in my classrooms.
Yeah. So the area you were in, was it predominantly African American? Was it predominantly white?
I say white up until I became in high school age.
Okay.
So I remember in my kindergarten class, it was only 2 of us.
Oh, wow.
So again, like St. Louis is, it was more like a white flight. So when we moved into the suburbs where I was as a child,
Yeah.
we were one of the first families that moved into that community that were of color. So that transition over the years of being one of only 2 blacks in kindergarten till you fast forward to when I'm in high school and I'm about to graduate, it was probably 80% black.
Oh, wow. So it was that much of a change.
Oh, yeah, it was that much of a change.
Between that time period of the white flight of it changed to 80% black by the time you were in high school.
Yeah. And growing up, I played soccer, baseball. So a lot of my friends were white. I had sleepovers, all of that. And I got along with everybody. When you're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, you don't really see the world the way it is now. The person is just your friend. They treat you good. I didn't have any issues when I went over their house, their neighborhoods. I didn't experience a lot of that stuff again until I became 13, 14, 15 years old. Got a little hair on my face and my voice got deeper.
You graduate high school and kind of what happens after that?
Well, it's a lot that happened even before that.
Okay. What's that? Fill me in.
Okay. Well, my father wasn't in my life.
Okay.
So he was a disciplinarian. He only came by to discipline me. He wasn't there to help me with my homework. He wasn't there to take me to my soccer games, my baseball games. He never gave me my entire life. And this isn't like, oh, this is what I think. Like my mother has told me that he never gave $1 to help with anything. So my mother was a school teacher, speech therapist to be exact.
Okay.
And you know how school teachers, they're off for the summer. So a lot of people don't understand. We all know teachers don't get paid any money anyway, but you got to realize they don't get paid for 4 months of the summer. Wow. So a lot of teachers, they will take on extra jobs because for 4 months, you don't have a paycheck. So she took on odd jobs just like anybody would because she still wanted to keep me focused. Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, anything you can think of, swim classes, jujitsu, karate, anything to keep me not in the streets and to keep me, I think, where I had some kind of bond or mentorship because she knew I had a deficiency because my father wasn't there. So the only times I do remember really spending time with him, they just weren't that happy. He was a big man, 6'2", 6'3", 200 plus pounds, but he was just very angry. Like that's just what I remember. And I just don't even mean with me, just period.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in law enforcement, but I just remember him being very angry. I've never met his brothers, but I was told that he had 5 brothers, and I don't know how they came up, but I just know for most of my life, he just beat the crap out of me. Like he literally would show up. I guess she would already call him and tell him like, Todd is talking back or Todd is not doing his chores. And he would come. We go down in the basement, always in the basement. And he would lock the door so she can't come down because even though I was misbehaving with her, she didn't want him to beat me.
Right.
But his exact words and his attitude were, well, if you can talk tough to your mother, which I did talk back, then I'm going to treat you like a man. And he literally beat me with his hands. I mean, like, punch me in my face, punch me in my abdomen, punch me in my chest. Wow. Never was a belt involved, right?
Yeah, just physical.
Yeah. So my memories of him were that he was just full of rage and anger. I know one time he took me to the movies, which she always had an issue with because she would say, well, he's only 8, 9, 10 years old. Why do you take him to see R-rated violent movies?
Yeah.
As a kid, I thought it was cool. I didn't mind.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But I remember this one time we came out of the parking lot, and I don't know who was at fault. All I know is that it was a merging lane. So whether my father was at fault or the other driver, I can't tell you. But I do remember him just moving my hand out of the way because it was an armrest.
Yeah.
And I remember he had like a Mazda. And I'm just like, why did he just move my arm out of the way? He just pushed the button and the armrest pops up. And then he just grabs this revolver. Now, I've been in this car several times before, but I didn't know it was a gun in there, right? And as if I wasn't even sitting in the passenger seat, he just lets down the window. His long arm comes right in front of me. So I'm literally looking at the silver gun, and he points it at the guy who's next to us that cut us off.
And is he doing this all while still in law enforcement?
I'm assuming so. I mean, I was a kid at the time. I didn't even realize he was in law enforcement until I became like 16, 17. I just thought he was a gangster at the time, to be honest. So.
Oh, wow. That's
right.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so tough upbringing with your father. Kind of what were some of the other, situations that you kind of had to overcome growing up in St. Louis? I know reading your book, there's some, other stories that you kind of mention as well. But is there anything else that kind of really kind of shaped, your childhood, that ultimately kind of led you to your ultimate path as an adult?
Well, unfortunately, I lost my mother when I was young. So I say around 18, I think I had just turned 18. I was about to turn 18. She let me start driving her car because she was like, okay, well, I'm going to be at work all day. As long as you show up on time, you can take the car. Don't wreck it. Just be responsible. So all this particular week I would go. She gets off about 3:34. She comes outside. I'm right there. Monday, Tuesday. Baby, I got a headache, Take me home. Let me give me something to eat. I'm going to lay down, take some aspirin. Next day, same thing. Boy, I just cannot get rid of this headache. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm not getting enough sleep. I don't know if I'm sleeping wrong. Thursday, same thing. So, I mean, to me, it's just like, wow, she's not feeling good. But, at 18 years old, you're just thinking, okay, she'll get better. I mean, what's the big deal?
Right.
Friday, I pull up. Normal day, waving to the teachers that I know that's coming out before her. And when she was walking to the car, I could see her face was even different, just the excruciating pain. Like she just didn't look normal, not smiling, anything. Right. So when she gets in the car, she says, you have to take me to the ER. Like literally, as soon as she gets in the car, and I'm like, why? She said, I can't deal with these headaches anymore. You need to take me to the ER right now. So again, macho, thinking, this is nothing. I say, okay, and I drive her to the ER. We go in the ER. It's a million people sitting down, waiting. 4 or 5 hours go by. They take her in the back. I go back. They say, oh, well, we want to run some more tests. So, she tells me, hey, it's getting dark. It's 8, 9 o'clock. I have a dog at home. I haven't eaten. She said, hey, don't worry about me. I'm sure I'll be done soon. I'll call you when I'm ready. Just go home, take the dog out, get something to eat. I go home. So now the news is on, which comes on 10 o'clock in St. Louis. She's still not home. So the Tonight Show is now coming on after the news, and then the phone rings, and it's my grandmother. And she says, Todd, they're keeping Connie, that's my mother's name, overnight. So now it's getting real.
Right.
I'm like, damn, why are you keeping her overnight for a headache?
Right.
I mean, I dropped her off at 4 o'clock, 4:30. I don't understand. So I started to get a little wary, but still, you feel invincible when you're that age. Like, man, So I go on about my business, stay up, a couple hours, go to bed. Wake up the next morning. Phone rings again. You heard anything? No, I haven't heard anything, but I'm going to go drive down to the hospital and see. So I get to the hospital, walk in. Nurse says, hey, you're Connie's son? I say, yes, ma'am. She said, okay, I think the doctor wants to talk to you. So now I'm like, okay.
Serious.
Yeah, what is this about? But still, no idea how my life is going to change. So this guy walks in, your typical doctor look, what you would think, glasses, lab coat, but very clinical. I won't say he had a bad bedside manner, but just straight to the facts. Young man, your mother had a CT scan, and she has what we call glioblastoma. Don't even know what that means until he says it's a form of brain cancer. So literally, it's like being in the movies. I see all these people walking by me, but I hear nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And my back just hits the wall. And I literally can just feel myself just starting to slide down the wall. And I see his mouth moving, but I don't hear nothing. Because I just can't get over him saying, your mother has a brain tumor. It took me years to learn how to say glioblastoma.
Yeah.
But now I've learned that it's basically the most deadliest form of brain cancer you can have. I don't even think it's a 5% survival rate. So then, once I started to get my hearing back, he was still standing there saying, we're going to start surgery. We're going to have to operate. The tumor in her skull right now is the size of a golf ball. So we have no choice but to shave her head and to take her into surgery today. And that literally changed the course of my life. From that day, I say to the week, 18 months later, I lost her. She passed.
Oh, sorry to hear that. So 18 months from the time that the doctor said something, you experienced that.
Yeah. She went into remission, I say maybe a month or two after she went through chemotherapy. They got what they thought was everything for the tumor. Her hair started to grow back. You have to go back every month, for blood work and for scans. And ultimately, within, I say, 7-8 months, it came back. And this time, like most cancers do with a vengeance, this time he technically said, there's nothing that we can even do. But your mother is a Christian woman. She let us all know that she believes God is going to heal her, but it's the size of a grapefruit at this point. And he then decided to go down the litany of things that would happen to her. Would lose her equilibrium. She would faint and fall. She would lose her vision, which she only lost in one eye. Just like how people have a stroke. She was only able to talk out one side of her mouth like that. So having somebody who is your father and your mother, your everything, and then watching that person deteriorate. I don't think any boy, I was a mama's boy, I don't think anybody could prepare prepare you for that. I had to help her brush her teeth. I had to help her wipe her butt. None of these things I minded because she did it for me. But it's a humbling thing and a scary thing when you're 18.
Yeah.
To realize that the only person that you've ever had and depended on in your life, you now have to wipe their butt and put them in the tub. And for me and most boys who are mama's boys, that's my first love.
Yeah.
I never loved anybody before I loved my mother. So it's not just you losing your mother. You're losing your first love. And that's deep. And that's hard. And yeah, that devastated me. There's no other word for it. So it's like you asking me to live without one of my organs. Like people like to say, oh, it's like me living without a hand or arm. That's not deep enough. I can function without an arm. Now, I wouldn't want you to take my dominant arm, but I could live without my arm.
Right.
But it's like you taking my intestines or you taking my kidney or it was that drastic.
So how did you, manage?
I did.
To be able to.
I did. I acted out.
Okay.
I went wild. I got in the streets.
In what ways?
Any way you can name other than murder. So you name it, I did it. So.
Was this at 18, kind of shortly after?
I was dabbling in it ever since she was diagnosed, if I'm being honest. If I'm being completely honest, one of my friends called me one day. He said, "Hey, asshole, what are you doing?" And I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "Yeah, you heard me." And I said, "Why you call me an asshole?" He said, "Because you an asshole." He said, "Your mama's sick." I said, "But she in remission." He said, "No, it came back." And I said, "What you mean it came back?" And he said, "You would know if your dumb ass was at home instead of running the streets."
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I ended up going back home, because I was in the streets so heavy that she told me, as a Christian mama, you can't be in my house and be in the streets at the same time. So I chose the streets. And while I was in the streets, my mother's cancer came back. So I had to make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
The streets or my mama. And I chose my mama. And that's what got me out the game.
That's crazy.
And I spent those last 8 months with her, taking care of her. But I probably lost a good 2 months when that cancer came back.
Yeah.
Be in the game.
Yeah, it almost kind of sounds in a way she saved your life in a way.
Always.
Because it sounds like, had it not been for everything that kind of happened, do you think that you would have kept that same lifestyle going?
For sure. Yeah. Yep.
And how do you think that would have ended?
Like most of them, in jail, dead. You know, I had already been threatened even before that happened by, we'll just say, a rival pharmaceutical salesman.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not special.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it could have happened. So, yeah, she been saving my life, still doing it now from heaven.
I appreciate you sharing that. I know that's, there are no words for it. So the fact that you opening up, definitely appreciate you, sharing that. So I know that you got into law enforcement. Mm-hmm. So kind of what ultimately got you into law enforcement? So you said that you were dabbling in the streets. So from the streets to law enforcement, that's definitely going from one side to the other. So
yeah, it was, but the transition was a lot smoother than people think. My philosophy is more police officers should be from the streets. And when I tell people that, they laugh at me.
What do you mean?
It's like somebody saying you should hire a thief or a criminal to work in the bank. But I actually think it's a positive thing. How can you know how to catch a criminal
if you can't think like one?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not only that, the problem that people don't get is you have a person who, a lot of people don't understand this. You can go to Chick-fil-A today. Right now, we just stop this podcast and you say, man, I'm going to go to Chick-fil-A or McDonald's to get me something to eat. And when you go there as a young man, 23, 24, 25 years old, and he's taking your order. And today is August 25th, August 26th, 2025. He gets accepted into the academy next week. September, October, November, December, January, February. Before springtime, you go to that same Chick-fil-A, you pull out. That guy who was once taking your order, he went to the police academy. In 7 months, he now has a badge and a gun. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going from working at Chick-fil-A to being a police officer, but what I am saying is what constitutes you being able to tell me what my rights are, using deadly force, having a mental capacity from making fish and chicken sandwiches to now you have me and my family's life in your hands at a traffic stop. In 7 months, you're asking a lot.
Which is virtually no time.
Right. So, in contrast, barbers, beauticians have to go to school for a year. So you have to go to school minimum a year, in some places even longer than that, for a cosmetologist license. But I'm going to give you a badge and a gun and give you the right to shoot at human people and take their freedom and or their life. And you can get that in 7 months. But if you want a perm or you want blonde streaks in your hair, you have to go to school for a year.
Yeah, when you put it like that,
There's
that's
something
crazy.
wrong with that.
That's crazy.
And that's why you have problems in our society now.
So what made you want to actually be a cop, though? I mean,
it's so many things. I mean, like I said, I'm an 80s baby. So I grew up watching Miami Vice, which I talk about in my book. So who didn't want to be Crockett and Tubbs?
Yeah.
I mean, they were the coolest cats, right? But I also think it had a lot to do with, I always have been of service. I still grew up in the church. I hate bullies. Again, when you get hit and beat so much, it means nothing to you. So my whole life, I kind of grew up fighting. Like I told you, she put me in all the boxing, jiu-jitsu, karate. So I've been hit upside my head so many times, it's just second nature to me. So some people grew up and, I played all these instruments and I did this and that. I grew up fighting. And I don't mean just like necessarily in the backyard, but just competition. So it's nothing for me to get hit in the nose. It's nothing for me to get hit in the face. I had so many black eyes, I can't tell you. People who really know me will say, yeah, sometimes my eye doesn't even close the same as the other one does because I've been hit in the face so much in this eye over here. But people who really don't know me, they don't recognize that. So I think I don't like bullies. I don't like people that pick on people. Most of the fights I got into, because I wasn't a big jock, but I played some sports, but I was a ladies' man. And I was like the class clown. I talked a lot. My teachers liked me. So nobody really ever had a lot of beef with me. I got along with everybody. But the reason I always got into fights is because I could not stand someone who messed with somebody else. So we had kids that had disabilities at our school, just like anybody else. We had a guy that was in our class that had a shoe that was bigger than the other because one of his legs was shorter than the other. I just don't understand people who pick on somebody like that. So when I see somebody like that, I would just feel like, well, if you're going to mess with him, then you got to mess with me. And I never talk. I just hit because that's what I've been trained to do. And I think in my mind, I felt like, well, becoming a police officer, right? I can help people with bullies. I can help other children who are getting abused like I got abused from my father.
Right, helping those who can't help themselves.
There you go.
So you mentioned in your book that you did undercover work. So exactly kind of how did you get into that? So I know you go through the police academy, but how do you get into undercover work? Is that something that you apply for? You're just chosen? Exactly kind of how did that come to be?
Well, my story is kind of, it's not unique. I mean, well, it is unique. It's kind of different because I actually got chosen in the police academy.
Okay.
So in my police academy, again, St. Louis, it was 27 of us in the academy. 2 blacks, include myself, right? So I had tattoos. Another way that I acted out after I lost my mother was I got ink from the top of my shoulder to my wrist on both arms. So I got sleeves.
Yeah.
So I just didn't fit in, right? I'm young, 24 years old, hot-headed, full of ink. So when I joined the academy, they have this thing where all these different police departments have seats. And what that means is when you are a police department, you have to do constant training. You have to send your officers annually to go get training to stay up to date on defensive driving, all kind of defensive tactics, arms training, and even just to brush up on the new laws that are being passed, right?
Right.
So what they give to those departments is a seat, meaning you pay X amount of dollars, and then every year you can pick anybody you want to and say, we want to sponsor this kid. We'll put him through the academy. And then once they graduate, they work for your department. So these people saw me and said, hey, we got an issue with methamphetamines, crystal meth in our community. Nobody would think you are a cop.
Yeah.
You're young, you're black, and you got tattoos all up and down your body. Would you like to do this?
Interesting.
I'm thinking, man, this is Miami Vice 2.0.
Yeah.
So,
you're like,
what do I have to lose?
Right up my alley.
Right?
Yeah.
And what was even cooler about it, I thought at the time, was I get a badge sooner. And you'll say, what do you mean? There's incremental levels when you're becoming a police officer. So when you're a police officer, you have to get so many hours, right? Yeah. So when you get your first 300 and some odd hours, you technically are a police officer. You just have restricted powers. And what that means is people now will call them reserve officers.
Yeah.
So you can ride around with another fully licensed officer, but you can't make arrests on your own. You can't carry a gun off duty, right? But technically, you've reached enough hours for that state to say that you are a peace officer.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, then you move up and you get your 500-600 hours and you're at level 2. And then you go up until you get to level 3. And once you become a fully sworn officer, then you have all the powers of a peace officer. But since I was sponsored by this department, I was able to get a badge even sooner because I already knew who I was going to work for. So I technically started even working as I was going to school with this police department.
So you were in the academy and working with them at the same time?
Yeah, with no pay. The pay was, we pay for you to go to school.
Gotcha, okay.
But it acclimated me into the police culture even more in real time because on the weekends and after school, I'm actually working at the department.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, what kind of missions or assignments were you typically involved in when you were undercover?
Well, it depends on what department. So I worked for a series of 6 departments in my entire police career.
Okay, 6.
And we can get into that later. But this particular department, it was the one I told you where there was a huge highway that came between this town. And they had an issue with interstate drugs being
and where was
brought
this?
in. It was in Missouri.
Okay.
I'd rather not say the exact city.
Okay, makes sense.
It was a rural part. It wasn't St. Louis. It was west of St. Louis. I'm willing to say that. And to make a long story short, when you're undercover, you get a completely new identity. We call it a backstop. So they literally physically took me down to the highway patrol office, asked me for my driver's license, took it. I literally didn't even have my license that said Todd anymore. They gave me a new first name, last name, gave me a new social security number, a new date of birth, and they gave me an address, which it was a real physical address. I just didn't actually live there. And when I walked out, I was no longer Todd. So that was new to me.
I bet, yeah. You're completely a new person.
And I think the most drawing thing for me that I had to get used to was they said, you can tell no one, even other officers. So when I initially took the job, I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to be undercover in the community
Mm-hmm.
and with like drug dealers. But they were like, you don't get a gun. And I'm like, well, I don't understand how I'm gonna be undercover, no gun. But they're like,
Yeah.
but we have information from an informant that there are officers that are helping these, because the whole thing that we were investigating was there were not like there's drivers who only drive interstate, meaning they don't leave the state of California, they don't leave the state of Missouri. So they said, we think the officers are helping those particular ones. So even though we know it's coming from out of state as well,
Mm-hmm.
we think our officers are helping with the guys that only drive in the state of Missouri and basically telling them where to go and, not checking the trucks, right?
Yeah.
And therefore, we can't chance you getting caught and them knowing. So I would never actually go to the police station because they didn't want the other officers to see me.
Right.
And then they said, you can't have a gun and you can't carry your badge.
Mm-hmm.
So back then, car speakers kind of stood up in the back.
Yeah.
They weren't flush.
Right.
And they said, because I just kept making a big thing out of it. I was like, hey, I'm a black man. You got me out here in this rural part of the county. I got tattoos up and down my arm.
Yeah.
And if I get beat like Rodney King, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, right.
And they laughed, but I was dead serious. And they said, okay, well, we'll help you out a little bit. We'll give you your ID card, which says you're a police officer, has your DSN, which is our badge number, right? It's like your police social security number. And we'll put it up under the speaker box. So if they get ready to start beating you, just say, hey, go to the back speaker and pop it up. I mean, that could be good or bad, right?
Right.
But that's literally all I had. And then you get a handler.
Uh-huh.
And that's one police officer that's in the department
That knows.
and they check in with you once a week to see if you need anything, and then you will meet and you swap. And back then the recorders weren't digital. They were the little micro cassettes.
Yeah, I remember
And they'll
those.
give you a new bag of those, a new thing of batteries, and you give them those cassette tapes, and you give them whatever you put down in your log, who you made buys with, license plate numbers, the whole nine. And you don't talk again for 7 days unless something is wrong. That's the job.
So can you give detail on kind of how that played out?
It was ugly. I mean, I ultimately
Did you find something?
stopped because of them.
Yeah.
Meaning I had just as many issues as the higher ups running the operation than I did with the people I was supposed to be investigating. And that's because they didn't put enough money into the program to me, didn't have the right equipment. And what did it for me was my handler one weekend, I called him and we were supposed to meet for our 7-day meetup. Couldn't get in touch with him. Next day, couldn't get in touch with him. So I'm like, okay, I can't call the police department. I can't just drive the police department. This is the only person that I have. And I'm not staying at home. They got me staying in motels. Because even though my license has an address, right, you got to realize that I'm not actually staying there for my own safety, right? This is just like a rental they have for me. But I'm staying in these nasty motels, paying cash under a pseudonym, right?
Right.
So a couple of days go by, and then finally he calls me. He's like, hey, when can we meet up? What's up? And I got an attitude. I'm like, well, I could have been dead or in jail.
Right. And you wouldn't know.
Right. Because that's the only person that can get you out of jail. That's the only person you can call and say, hey, I'm locked up, and he can come and get you out. Right. Oh, I thought I told you. It was my 10th wedding anniversary. We went out of town.
That's
I'm
crazy.
literally telling you that did it for me. So we had this big argument, and it was like, you know what? If you want to part ways, even though we put you through school, we'll call it even. I signed the paperwork. I gave them your stuff, all the stuff I had on the case. I walked.
Was there ever a time during that period where, things got kind of dangerous, where you weren't sure whether or not you were going to make it out?
Not at that department, but like I said, I've worked at 6 different departments, and I've done undercover work at other departments.
Yeah.
So not at that department did I feel that way, but at another department, I don't feel like I was going to die or that I wasn't going to get out. But I did feel like, man, did I make the right career choice? Because, it was getting very likely that I could get fatally injured, but it wasn't at that department.
Well, and not that. So, I mean, the department that you just mentioned, kind of what was the situation? Was it, again, just undercover? Was it dealing with other police officers, or was it dealing with kind of the general public in that sense?
It's more than one, but the one story I can give you is okay, I'm undercover, I'm working with these guys, and they're like, hey, you can stay with us for a couple of days. Mm-hmm. And when you're undercover, you have to just leave everything that is of you behind. You are no longer who you were. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you want to keep as much of your true story part of your undercover story. So in other words, if I'm undercover, I'm still an only child, right? I'm not going to say I got brothers and sisters because it's the natural thing to say because it's the truth.
Right.
I'm still going to say my father wasn't around, mm-hmm. right? But with these guys, they wanted me to hang out with them a lot. Strip clubs, bars, and anybody who knows me, I don't smoke, I don't drink. So that was difficult. But they were like, hey, man, it's late. Why don't you just stay with us? So I said, okay. So I noticed after a couple of days, they started having people come over. And I was like, man, this is weird. Like every day, you got 5-10 people just coming in here. And I felt uncomfortable because I thought I was only hanging around the people that I had information on. So one day after breakfast, I'm in the living room. One of the drug dealer subjects was in the living room. And the other people, men and women, were in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And this guy walks in, and I mean, just as loud and crystal clear as can be. He walks in and says, hey, Todd.
Who's this guy?
And literally, you could hear a feather drop. And even the people in the kitchen came in and said, what did you say? He said, I ain't seen Todd since high school. And they said, but his name is Patrick. It's the longest 2 seconds of my life.
I bet.
Because I'm literally trying to understand what just happened. With all this training, with all this backstop, meaning that we've built this story on myself.
Yeah.
I never thought
you would run into someone you knew.
From high school. And he said it's so definitive, like, I know him.
Yeah.
So they said, hey, why don't you come in the back and talk to us real quick? And the whole while I'm walking, I'm just like, I'm dead. Like, literally, what can you say? Like, he literally is telling them, I went to school with him my whole life, not just high school. I've known him since middle school. Like, I know his name. I know him.
Yeah.
So by the time we get to the kitchen, I just come up with the dumbest thing I can. And they said, so why did you lie to us? Who are you? You police? Who are you? Why did you say your name is Patrick? And I said, man, let's be for real, man. I'm black. Okay? My real name is Todd. Yeah. But my middle name is Patrick. But to me, Todd is a white name. So I don't use Todd, and I just use Patrick. And those idiots bought it and laughed. And they would say, come on, Todd. You're thinking kidding. That, okay, that's why he really changed his name. But the truth is I got outed by an old classmate.
That's wild.
His name was Donald. Passed away now, rest in peace.
Okay.
But, yep, he ousted me and didn't even know. But not to finish. That's not why I thought I was going to die. Later that night, I got my own room, and I go take a shower. At that time, I was big into cowboy boots. It's a St. Louis thing.
Okay.
I think they were like lizard or ostrich or whatever.
All right, fancy.
And if you know anything about cowboy boots, you have to put them on and then kind of pull them up. What that allows you to do is stick your arm in there, and you can put your hand up in the toe area, right? Mm-hmm. You can't just see the whole part of the boot like a regular shoe, right? So that's where I would keep, at this department, my ID for being a police. But because that happened, I'm taking off my clothes, and I'm like, man, you need to hide your ID. So by the grace of God, I decided to take a baggie from the kitchen, just a plastic sandwich bag that you put a sandwich in. Now, it's going to sound crazy to you, right? So I took my little badge. Now, the badge you get when you working undercover or as a detective, it's tiny. It's like a FBI badge. I don't know if you ever seen it.
Yeah, I've seen those.
So it's not like a LAPD badge, big with a whole flag on it, right? I took that and took my police ID and I wrapped it around the sandwich bag. You know what I'm about to tell you. And then I went in the bathroom and I spread my cheeks.
Gosh.
And I didn't stick it up my hole, but I just put it in my cheeks and basically squeezed my cheeks together. I took my shower. And man, was that a good decision. Because I'm very methodical. I'm a neat freak. Everything has to be lined up in my house. Like all the cans are facing the same way, dull, whatever. So same thing. I take my pants off, fold them up, my belt, I loop it up. My socks, I roll it up. My boots, I got facing one way. But now my socks, I roll up each sock and I put one in one boot and one in the other. When I come out of the shower 15 minutes later, I notice one boot is laying down on the ground, not sitting up. And then another boot is facing the opposite way.
So I came in.
Which lets me know that you've been looking in my boot. And the two socks that I didn't have rolled together, that I had one in each boot, are now rolled like most people do them. And they roll them together, put it in the boot. So if I hadn't done that, what would have happened to me in the shower if they had found out that here's a badge and a police ID in the tip of my boot? That's one.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So what advice would you have for anyone who would consider going undercover, becoming an undercover officer?
I wouldn't.
You would advise
it's
against it?
It's not for everybody. In order to be an undercover officer, you need no family. You need no personal life. You know, you didn't ask me, but one of the biggest issues is you're a professional liar. I probably lost 2 or 3 girlfriends. I mean, I wasn't like in deep relationships. But most women don't understand when you get a phone call, you got 2, 3 cell phones, first of all. Because the phone that you use for your handler, nobody else uses their phone. You're not supposed to carry your personal phone because nobody from your personal life is even supposed to contact you. But once I got to another department and I felt a little bit better, full of myself, like a dumbass, I still carried a personal phone, not on my body, but I had access to it. And then you're going to have a phone that only they want you to reach them at. So I was handling 3 cell phones. So imagine any woman you know saying, hey, you got 3 cell phones.
What's going on?
The first question is why don't I have that number?
Yeah.
Right? The other one is why they keep calling you Patrick?
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, natural question.
But the biggest one is you're out on a date, which has happened to me a dozen times, and the phone rings.
And you got to go.
There you go. I want to come with you.
No.
Why you can't tell me where you're going?
Yeah.
Why is it every time we go out, and I mean, it's 10 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, they just, they don't buy it. And you can't even tell them you're undercover. So it's not like you're saying, oh, okay, you know I'm a cop, and you know this is what I do. They're like, well, what cop just gets up and go? You don't even wear a uniform.
So it's hard for them to even really believe what's going on.
You cannot keep a relationship if you work undercover.
That makes sense.
If you do, you have skills that I just don't have. It's the balance act is just not worth it. It's too much stress.
I could definitely see that.
And then the last thing I would say that I would recommend to people, unless you are a true leader, is just because you have to have your own structure. Just like when you're a detective or you're undercover, there's no one that's like immediately overseeing you. So you have to basically have your own gumption. You have to have your own incentive to go and make the case. Yeah. Because they just drop you off in the community. And you have to make your own buys. You have to make your own connections. People don't just walk up to you and offer to buy or sell.
Right. In your book, you mentioned that cops have a distorted God complex. What do you mean by that?
Most do. Do as I say, not as I do. You have no rights. I'm all knowing. So most cops are not trust fund kids, right? They come from blue collar families. And I personally think most of them haven't had a lot of power. You know, low on the totem pole, jobs where you literally push in to clock in. Now you got a badge and a gun.
After 7 months.
Thank you. And now you basically telling people what they can and cannot do. And the repercussions for not doing that are usually violent.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what a lot of people don't understand is that everybody is still a human being. They have rights, a man and a woman. So just because I run a light, just because I even have a DUI, your job is to check your emotions. You're not the judge. You're not the jury. You're not the executioner.
Right.
But a lot of these guys feel like, well, because I deem you not worthy, I don't have to talk to you with respect. I can put my hands on you and violate you. And that's what I mean about a God complex. Just because you do something that is so-called illegal,
right,
your only job is to charge them with that. They have had no trial. They have had no due process. Therefore, that's the problem that you see now when people feel like, I don't have to give you a Miranda warning. I don't have to tell you why I have probable cause. I don't even have to show you my face.
Which we're seeing a lot of nowadays.
Pull up with a mask on, unmarked car, doesn't say police, doesn't say sheriff's department. It doesn't even say dog catcher. Just imagine this, in this world we live in, just imagine going to La Jolla, Rancho Santa Fe, some lofty place in San Diego in which we live, right? And imagine going to a dog park. And we'll just say a certain group of people are there. And they had their little French bulldogs or poodles. And let's just say a dog catcher, not even a police officer, just came up and just snatched the dog. And then just put it in a van and took it. People be outraged.
They would
How you
be.
just gonna come up and you just gonna take her dog? How you gonna just come up and... But now we doing that to actual human beings and people. But they would be in the uproar if somebody just took somebody's $2,000 Frenchie that she had at a dog park.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
That's a good example.
To take the person that's off of the street that you say shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Even if you feel like they shouldn't be here, then you should have no problem showing your name on your shirt, your badge, your insignia of the department in which you represent, reading them their Miranda warning, asking them, do they want an attorney, that they don't have to talk to you.
Yeah.
Placing them, right, respectfully in the car, and then giving them their due process.
So what is the blue line? I feel like you hear a lot about it. You see flags, you see bumper stickers and everything. But what is the blue line? And then second question to that is, are there other lines within the blue line? So first, what is the blue line? And then the second question of kind of, are there other lines within it?
It's probably what you and other people think. But yeah, it exists. It's a code. You don't snitch on other police officers. You see another officer doing something, you look the other way. I mean, it's such a loaded question. I mean, yeah, there are other lines. I mean, you have your command staff that's on a totally different level than the blue line. Command staff is anybody that wears a white shirt. So when you're in police department, LAPD's black uniforms, other police departments are blue uniforms, but no matter what command staff wears, white.
Yeah.
So lieutenant, captain, all those people, right? Chief, lieutenant. So these people to me are like politicians, senators, congressmen, been in office for 30, 40 years, no term limits. So they're so insulated because they have the backing of politicians, they have the backing of community leaders, they have the backing of business owners. So they protect each other. They're there to protect the institution, which is the police department, So that's one whole, political process line that you can't penetrate. And then the soldiers, right, that are on the street taking regular calls every day, then they have their blue line. So it's hard to cross it because ultimately you are alienated and you probably won't be a police officer for long, which is ultimately what happened to me as well. When people buy my book, they'll see that I had to go to the FBI and I had to report on officers that I work with because I arrested a subject. Yeah. I literally gave him a Miranda warning, put the handcuffs on him. That means nothing to you in a regular society, but that means I, Todd, am responsible for that young man because he's in my custody. Yeah. It's just like you putting a child in a car seat that can't get out on their own. They're seat belted in. You're responsible for them. The child, unless they're 8 or 9, you still put them in a car seat. They can't take off the seatbelt and jump out the car seat alone. So as a police officer, unless I give that prisoner, that subject, to a correctional officer, which I then have to sign over, I literally have his life in my hands. They chose to take him out, and I'm going to just go past this real quick because it'll take forever. Put him in a detective's office, questioned him. He gave them bogus information, which every subject who doesn't want to go to jail does. If I know I have warrants, if I know that I'm in trouble, like, it's laughable to me
You're not gonna
for somebody to say, hey, I didn't do something that I'm supposed to, take me to jail. Like, I don't even understand the concept of getting upset about that. It's like a man who cheats. Yeah. Are you going to tell your wife or your girlfriend you're cheating? Right. Even if she sees you and says, I got you on video, you're going to say, that's not me. So why do you think the guy you arresting is going to tell you that he deserves to go to prison? They pay you to find out that he goes to prison. Right. So but you so lazy be mad about it that you want him to help you put him in jail. Yeah. I don't understand that. You get paid for 12 hours anyway. I always work 10 or 12 hours. So what else you going to do with your time? Take his fingerprints, right? Find out who he is, even though he gave you bogus information. That wasn't good enough. Yeah. They took folding chairs, beat him, broke his nose, broke his eye socket, broke his jaw, and then told me, because I was a rookie officer at that department, take him to the ER. So again, post-Rodney King. Yeah. Black man with another black man handcuffed to the chair, waiting in the ER. And when you're a police officer, there's no special treatment. Like, I don't want you to think like, oh, when you're going in the ER. No, if I go in there myself shot, preferential treatment. But with a subject, unless he's dying and shot, no. We sat and for hours. Sat. And every sister that you can think of, every brother that came in there looked at me like I was absolute trash because the natural thing is to think, you did it. Sell out, pig. Yeah. You beat your own. Actually, I didn't touch him. But I'm an empath, right? Father wasn't in my life, beaten, abused, lost my mother. So me and him conversating. So I'm literally in a waiting room for 2 hours. I promise you that's how long it was. So over 2 hours, we talking. Yeah. I'm going to go get him ice, gauze pad because the blood. So I'm starting to feel more connection with him
than the officers.
Than these idiots that I work with. Doctors says, okay, he needs to get X, Y, and Z done because when somebody is hurt like that, they have to get what's called a fit for confinement, meaning I cannot legally put you in jail, meaning real jail, and you have these ailments because if something happens to you, you have internal bleeding or get an infection or whatever, you can now sue the department in the state. But once the doctor signs off on it and says, okay, yeah, you're hurt, but it's not a communicable disease and you'll live. Now I can lock you up. They'll even let you go to jail with minor medication. He needs to get aspirin every 4 hours. He needs to have this ointment. They'll still let you go to jail for that. But if you have stitches and you have other things, they'll keep you in the hospital before they do that. After he got the aid that he needed, now we're talking 4 or 5 hours later. Remember, this is a 12-hour shift. I go back to the police department and sitting on the sergeant's desk is an entire police report stating what happened with the subject that I arrested and how he got hurt. But I didn't write the report. But at the bottom, it's typed and says my name with my badge number, and he hands me a pen and he says, sign it. And I said, sign what? He said, sign the damn report. And I said, but not only is none of this true, he never fought any of us. Yeah. You guys just beat the hell out of him. And now you're going to tell me, after I've been in the hospital with him for 4 hours, that I now have to sign this report that I didn't even write.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I could go on and on. But to make a long story short, the FBI got involved and that man sued the police department.
As you should.
Yeah.
But before we kind of go from how you transitioned out, I am curious. With social media, I mean, we see frequently, instances of police brutality of what you just, stated. I mean, how do you think these situations of excessive force can be stopped?
I don't think, if we're being honest, you can ever stop them. I think you can try to help to mitigate them being so frequent.
Okay.
You're dealing with human nature.
Right.
You're dealing with humans. And as long as you have that, you're going to have biasness, right? You're going to have racism, right? You're going to have the power struggle, meaning those that have, those that don't have.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can ever totally negate it. But something that must be done is there has to be accountability. So it's like having a child and you don't discipline them. You can't constantly have people violate people's rights, and there's nothing. We've grown accustomed to, okay, well, we're going to charge them. I'm just telling you from experience, that's just a joke. I'm telling you, it's just like, let's give the natives what they want so they don't burn the city down.
Yeah.
Let's just charge them, but hey, wink, wink. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're fine.
The AG is not going to really convict you, meaning when I get this grand jury, right?
Yeah.
They can almost lead them wherever they want to lead them. And I don't know what, 9 times out of 10, they don't file charges or they get acquitted.
Yeah, you see that often.
But then they can say, well, at least we charged them. It's not our fault that the jury didn't find them guilty.
What do you want us to do?
So when there's no incentive to do right, you got to say, well, hey, Todd, what was the point of you going to the FBI when, again, they're just going to get off?
Yeah.
And now more than ever, when you have a president in office who literally says, you beat police officers, Capitol police officers, federal officers, right, on television, prime time, to help me steal an election. I'm going to pardon every single one of you. You can't get mad at somebody saying, why would you jeopardize yourself, Todd, when all they're going to do is let him go in the first place? Well, he wasn't president at the time. And to me, you still have to do what you feel is right. So for me, I would do it all again, even if it was today. Because if you don't, you have no society. And that's what's happening now. It's not more of them than it is of us. The problem is good people and good men who do nothing. I keep telling you, most of the violence, most of the fights, most of the problems I have got in my life is not because it comes to me. God has protected me, right? Most people don't mess with me. They look at me, they're like, oh, I don't want that smoke. But the issue is I see something that's not right.
And you stand up.
I get in it.
Yeah.
And it's not that, oh, I'm so tough or I don't have anything to lose. I have things to lose just like anybody else.
Yeah.
But what if it's your wife? What if it's your mother? That somebody is beating up, somebody is robbing in the parking lot. And then I just say, well, it's not my woman, it's not my mother, it's not my sister. Oh, well. And that's what we do as a society.
Well, I want to get into the book. When did the journey of the book actually start and how?
Well, first of all, it took me a total of 3 years from the inception to actually handing it to people like you. Some of that was because of COVID. Some of that was because of personal things I was going through where I just had to sit back and take a break. But I actually started writing almost just like as journaling. You know, like I told you, growing up with all that rage, that anger, all the abuse, that I talk about in my book, the sexual abuse from men and women that were portrayed upon me. I had all these emotions that I didn't know how to express. So as I got older, I learned that writing would help facilitate some of that therapy for me. And something else we haven't talked about is that I'm a Christian man. So without God, I wouldn't be here today. I couldn't make it one day without him. So that was my way of not only therapy for myself, but speaking to him. And I think after I started to read what I wrote, because that's what I try to tell people. In the back of my book, I have several pages that have lines on them. And then my book comes with the pen. And what I'm basically telling people, and I have it inscribed on those last pages, is that you need to write your own story. Because just like me, many people feel like, man, it was so many parts of my life, or my whole life, nobody has ever been there for me. Nobody does anything for me. I have nothing good going on. Because it's like Twitter, X, it's like Facebook or Instagram. We only see those snapshots, right? Those 1 minute reels. But you forget that, okay, I didn't have a father, I didn't have an uncle, but my best friend, Daddy, he wasn't there for me all the time. But man, he took us hunting, he took us fishing. That time that I needed somebody to help me with a tie, he taught me how to tie a tie. You want to totally dismiss him. He wasn't your father. He don't have to come home with you every night. But you did learn how to tie a tie from your friend's father. You did learn how to drive a stick shift from your neighbor's brother. So that's God putting people in the gap that you didn't have, that now when you talk to people and you want to feel, oh, woe is me, I ain't had nobody. But if you just keep going off of your brain, which works on Instagram time, meaning I can only remember what happened the last hour. I don't even remember what happened 6 months ago if it's positive, right? When you write it down, right? I don't mean texting. I'm just going to put it in my notes. No. Pen and paper. Then you can go back and in real time, you can see that when I was 12, when I was 18, when I was 20, the other thing that it shows you is that you are stronger than you think. Because everybody wants to tell you what you're not. You're not strong enough. You're not tough enough. You're not tall enough. You're not pretty enough. You're not handsome enough. But when you write down all of the things that you've been through and you've survived, then you tend to see that, you know what? I am a survivor. I went through that divorce and I still got my credit together. I still was able to go buy a house. I still was able to pick myself up. But without you writing that down, society has a way of telling you, well, you know, you got divorced. You know, you lost your marriage. But that's all they want to say.
All
okay,
negative.
She did. But it might not even been her or his fault. But you need to constantly remind yourself of what you went through and how you came out on the other side.
There's so many good parts of the book. You know, I read it myself. But what part of the book stands out to you the most? I mean, it's all, I mean, great in its own way. But what part kind of stands out to you the most and kind of is the most memorable to you?
Surviving. Survival. I mean, to me, that's what the book is basically about, even though it's so many different stories in there, so many different tidbits. The synopsis of it is everybody has struggles. Everybody has hurt and pain. Most people struggle with how to get through that. Life is not about what happens to you. It's about how do you handle it. And most people have that issue where they can't move past the pain. I travel a lot. And when I go to airports, I always just am like mesmerized by how much luggage people take. You see what you mean? I pack light. I mean, I have a little trick to it. When I go out of town, I'm going to be there for any more than like 5 days. I'll ship what I need FedEx or UPS. And somebody say, why? Well, it's cheaper than paying for a bag. And I know
nowadays,
And I know it gets there before my bag gets there. Because my phone is going to say it was just delivered. I call the hotel ahead of time or Airbnb and it's signed for. And I can insure it. But now I don't have to worry about them saying, you can't put this shampoo in there. You can't put this in there because, it's, you know, because of all the TSA stuff, right? And then they had these suitcases now where I can put 4 or 5 pair of pants, the shoes, all that kind of stuff. But anything that I'm worried about somebody stealing or getting lost, that's how I send it. And my point is I look at all these people standing in line and they got 4 or 5 suitcases. And one day I was like, man, this is like a metaphor for life. Mm-hmm. And you'll say, what you mean? All of us have all this luggage at the airport, but we also carry it through life. And you'll say, what you mean? Like me and you, we grown men, right, with some decades on us, right? And we sit around and you'll say, hey, why does Todd have that little Spider-Man suitcase? He a grown man. But what's in that Spider-Man suitcase is not toys, it's not clothes as a grown man. Mm-hmm. It's the trauma, the hurt, the abuse that even at 50 years old, right? It's not visible to you in real time. This is a metaphor, right? But if I don't open that one day and take out all the molestation, the rape, the abuse, I meet you at 50, I'm still carrying that little Spider-Man suitcase with me everywhere I go. And now it becomes your burden, right? Well, I want to get in a relationship with this person. You got everything you need, but wait a minute. I got to go get my Spider-Man suitcase. But why do you need that? Because he never unpacked it. So now it becomes your burden. Now it becomes a problem in your relationship. And this goes for the ladies too. Whatever relationship you were in before, I don't have anything to do with that. But if you didn't unpack that, now you dragging that suitcase that has none of your belongings in it. You can't even fit anything that's in that suitcase anymore.
Right.
And again, as a metaphor, it's not the clothing, but it's what that other relationship did to you. Mm-hmm. And now that becomes a weight. Yeah. And just like the airline charges you a fee for the extra baggage, now that relationship is going to be charged with extra baggage stress because she or he failed to unpack that trauma and they just drag it from relationship to relationship. They move to another state. Why don't you just get rid of it? So I probably went on more than
no, asked, I mean that's really good. I mean, it kind of almost even transitions into, being a life coach, right? Because, being a life coach is helping people to make sense of those things and making sense of those things that are maybe keeping them from getting to the goals that they're looking to ultimately achieve, right? So, kind of how would you define what a life coach is?
Well, a life coach for me is no different than a physician. If you're not feeling good, you got a headache, you got your leg that keeps falling asleep, you got heart palpitations, you go to physician. Right. And the first thing they do when you go to physician is what? They take your temperature. So before I deal with any client, the first thing I do is I take their temperature. Well, that doesn't make sense. So what does the temperature do? The temperature tells you if anything is off in the body. So even though you have CAT scans and CT scans, MRIs, right? The most important thing that tells a doctor if something is wrong is whether your body can regulate its temperature or not. But when I deal with clients, a lot of times I have to take their temperature. What is your mental temperature? What is your spiritual temperature, right? Well, Todd, what does that mean? All of us have stress in our lives. All of us have issues. If you go to work and your boss is an asshole, just not because of you, just an asshole, unhappy person. No matter what the thermostat is on the actual wall in the room, right? It's always going to be hot in there. Yeah. Because he brings that energy. And most people that I deal with as clients, they have a problem regulating that. And what I'm saying is I teach my people to not let other people regulate your thermostat. If I walk in this podcast studio and you have it at 60 degrees, that's too cold for me. But if you get another guy come in tomorrow, he may say he likes it 60. Yeah. So for your clients, you're going to constantly lower and raise that. But in life, you can't do that because then you're basically putting your emotions, your feelings on somebody else. So if you're married and your spouse comes home and they have a bad day, they have an attitude, but you having a good day, and you let them come in and raise the temperature in the house to 90 degrees, now you're uncomfortable. My job as a life coach, whether it's business, personal, doesn't matter, is to help you regulate the temperature regardless of the climate that you find yourself in. Gotcha. So with everything that's going on in the political realm right now, with everything that's going on with the police, with everything that's going on with the economy, most people let those factors regulate their day, regulate their plans, regulate their future. But that's never going to change. When Biden was president, it wasn't any different. When the world we live in now is constant chaos. Right. It's like looking at an EKG machine and it's just constantly up and down, up and down, up and down. Right. Your heart can't live like that. So I help people get to a comfortable climate. Some people say, hey, that's 75 for me. Some people say that's 70. But nobody wants to live at a 90-degree constant. Right. And most people don't want to live at a constant 50 degree. Let's find that balance. Right. And that's what I teach, because most people, successful or not, meaning financially, they have a problem when they include other people. They may say, well, on my own, yeah, at home, you can put it on whatever you want to put it on. Right. If you're by yourself at work, you're fine. Yeah. But until that coworker walks in, until that boss walks in, you go to church, no matter what scenario you want to put it on, most of us have an issue when that individual comes in that makes our blood pressure go up or down. And that's a problem. And it's a problem because nothing can grow, right? And everything in life is about growth, nurturing, just like a farm. You can't nurture a relationship. It can't grow. Personal, professional, spiritual. If it's too hot or if it's too cold, you got to have the right amount of sunshine, you got to have the right amount of rain. And if you don't regulate your climate, then what? And that's what I tend to do with my clients when I first meet them.
Okay. I want to get more into that, but before we do, first, what drew you into the life and business coaching?
Life coaching is just the same as police work to me, meaning I'm a servant at heart. I like to help people that I feel like are struggling with something, because all of us are struggling, even myself, in certain areas. And most people are good people. The problem is we all come up on hurdles, and most of the time we don't have anybody to help us. I don't know, all of us, you've been at a grocery store, you've been somewhere and you've seen somebody struggling, whether it's a handicapped person, somebody with a wheelchair, and they're trying to get up on the sidewalk that doesn't have a ramp. And it's 100 people walking past them, but they're too busy. I'm looking on my phone. I never even saw the guy trying to get on the curb from the wheelchair. Or I'm too late, I got to go to my job. Or I don't know who that is. I mean, I don't actually want to touch him and help him up. That's our society, right? So same thing. I feel like most of us have good ideas. We have promise, but a lot of us get stuck in that. And my whole methodology on life coaching is the average person, I don't care how old you are, I don't care what your race is, I don't care what your age is. The average person down here is not happy and they're not successful for one reason only. It's not money. It's not how you grew up. It's one thing, and that's they don't understand their assignment. Well, what you mean? You weren't born just to be Tim. You're not just born just because, okay, you have an absolute designed purpose that I cannot fulfill. Your brother can't fulfill. Your neighbor can't fulfill. You and you only have the gift and the tools that God gave you. But if you have no idea and you walking around at 20, 30, 40 years old and saying, well, I'm going to work every day and I got a girlfriend or a wife and I'm doing this, but you have no assignment.
You're just floating through.
What is your purpose? Yeah. So how can you truly be happy unless you say, I have put my hand, I have placed my feet exactly where I was designed and purposed to be. And now everything you do, everywhere you walk will be just like Michael Jackson in the Billie Jean video. Your footsteps will light up. Every step you take will be in sync with the beat of that music.
Yeah.
Because what? You have learned, discovered, learned, studied, and now you're walking in your assignment.
Yeah.
But without that, you just aimlessly just living.
Yeah.
And you unhappy. I'm going from job to job. The best example of it, even though it's funny, but it's true, a guy or a young lady goes and enrolls in college. And then the parents and the family says, hey, you know what? So-and-so still going to school? Yeah, how long has she been in school now? 5 years. Well, how many times she changed her major? 6. Well, first she was going for psychology. Now she going for art. Now she says she want to be a veterinarian. Now she young. We got to give her grace.
Yeah.
But when you 40, 50 years old and you still doing that, whether it's in school or a job, it's all the same. You don't know your assignment. And you can't be, I don't care how much money I give you, I'm going to give you. That's why you see guys, you'll say, but I don't understand. This guy playing in the NFL and he making $5 million a year and he dropped out, or not dropped out. He stopped doing that. I just read about this the other day and he became a neurosurgeon.
Oh, I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, some people think that's smart. Now, neurosurgeons make good money, but it ain't nothing compared to the NFL.
Not at all.
Old boy, I forgot his name. He just signed a new deal for $96 million the other day for the Washington Commanders for a 3-year deal, right?
Yeah.
So he going to get $30-some million for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
This guy who used to play for the NFL, who is now a neurosurgeon, he'll never make that as a neurosurgeon.
Never.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because if your assignment is being an NFL star and a player, then by all means, that's what you're supposed to do. But you can't say he passed up this money if it's not your assignment. You will be so much more successful and so much more fulfilled if you find out what your assignment is and you attend class and you proceed and you graduate and you live it.
Yeah.
But most of the time, we chasing money, we chasing fame and title,
Yeah.
and it's not your assignment. So the number one thing that I can teach you when I meet you is to take your temperature, right? Where's your mental capacity? Do you even love yourself and like yourself? Well, Todd, what do you mean? Most of them don't. You love yourself because your wife loves you. You love yourself because your mama loves you. I didn't ask you that. See, like me, my mama gone. If you ain't married or whatever, do you love yourself? Yes, I do. No. Why you love yourself? You can't tell me why you love yourself? Is it only because of your job? Is it only because of the cars and the money you have? I didn't ask you that.
Yeah.
Do you love who you are? So, again, take your temperature. See where I stand with my client. See where their deficiencies are. Well, what's a deficiency? I have a friend. She has an iron deficiency. No matter where we go out to dinner, we go to the movies. Oh, I need my sweater. I forgot my sweater.
Oh, it's cold.
It's like it's 75 degrees.
Yeah.
But she low on iron. Sometimes I get cramps because I have a magnesium deficiency. So again, I'm going back to the physician metaphor.
Right.
The physician will give you supplements for your deficiency. My job as a life coach is to take your temperature and find out what are your deficiencies. Do you have a mental deficiency? And by mental, I don't mean like crazy or, like you have some kind of a psychological issue, but do you have a trust deficiency?
Yeah.
If someone hurt you in your past, your mother, your father betrayed you, uncle molested you. So now you have a trust deficiency. And now every relationship you get in, just like those people need those iron pills,
Right.
you get in a relationship, and just like my friend who need a sweater every time we go to the movies and it's 75 degrees, but she in there shaking like she in a freezer. You feel the same way every time you get close to a man because you got a deficiency in trust because of what your uncle did to you.
Right.
You don't have to live like that. You might remember that, but we can give you a game plan so you don't have to freeze out. Just like my friend who got the iron deficiency, she grows cold. You don't have to grow cold in your relationships every time a guy get close to you because of what your uncle did to you when you was 13, 14, 15 years old. But we must diagnose that and we must attack it. And most of us, we don't do that. We just want to put a Band-Aid on it and we want to just keep moving.
Yeah.
Nothing can be healed without exposure.
Right.
You must expose the wound in order to cleanse it,
Yeah.
in order for it to heal. Otherwise, it's going to keloid up. It's going to score up.
Right.
And the infection is going to stay there and it's going to spread.
Yeah, that makes so much sense, especially giving the example of finding out the person's temperature. I mean, with that, what is your favorite or go-to coaching tool to be able to do that? So, using the iron deficiency, a doctor will run tests, they'll use diagnostic tools to be able to figure that out. What is the tool that you use to be able to best be able to take on a new client and be able to figure out this is where they currently are and to start your, plan of attack of getting them to where they want to be?
Easy. A $2 mirror from the dollar store. If it's a woman, I can't make them, but I generally ask them when we meet, and I tend to ask them to meet somewhere where they feel comfortable because I want them to take off their makeup. I don't make them. I ask them to take off their eyelashes, take off any extensions, whatever. And somebody say, why? Because I just want to talk, not to their representative. I want to talk to them. Guys are no different.
Yeah.
I want you to take off your watch. I want you to take off your 2-carat diamond stud earrings. I want you to take off your fat gold chain. I want you to not show me your fob key that's showing me it's a horse on it because it's a Ferrari or a Porsche. I don't want to see that because that's what we do.
You want to get to the person, the core.
But not just the person. I want to get to the child. See, I'm talking to you as a man, but just like my hands, when you shake them, you feel them. I got a ranch, I got a farmland. I'm always outside feeding the horses, doing whatever. So I got calluses on my hand, right? I'm a street dude. But that's how you become when you become an adult. Life happens, you get calloused. You burn your hand, it keloids up, it roughs up, so stuff don't rub you the same. It hits different. But all of the hurt that you have, that's true hurt, that's going to literally stop you from doing what you need to do, comes from your infant state, your childhood. And when I say that, I don't mean 8, 9, 10. It could be up to even 20. But before you realize that I can make another Tim, I can make another Todd, that's the difference. See, once you create your twin, which is this is the 2.0. I'm not going to let nobody molest me no more. I'm not going to let nobody beat me up no more. I'm not going to let... That's your representative. That's your droid, right? That's your hybrid, right? But that's not the one who got the real feelings.
Right.
So if I really want to touch you, I really want to know who you are, I got to know what happened to you when you was little, good or bad. But if I wait and say, well, I want to talk to Tim after he got the feelings in his mouth, you still got the cavities. You just put the silver, well, now they're colored, feelings in there, but it's still a hole in your tooth. I have to remove that feeling.
Get to the core.
And anybody who got feelings know they don't last forever. So if you keep chewing enough and you 20, by the time you 35 or 40, guess what? That feeling will come out. And it might not come out all the way, but when you eat certain sweets or you drink, you're going to say, oh, I better go back to the dentist.
I've been there.
And as silly as that sounds, another metaphor, right? The same way that feeling has masked that he don't have no cavities. Yeah, it's just colored. He got 10 cavities on each side. He got a rotten mouth. Those nerves up under there are still up under that feeling. What we do as adults is we make that second representative, who is now Todd 2.0. I'm a cop. I got a badge and a gun. I ain't scared of my daddy no more. That's my feeling. But when you really want to find out who I am in my core, you'll say, well, let's remove the feelings in his tooth and expose the cavities that his daddy made. The cavities that happened when he was molested and when Todd was raped. The cavities that happened when Todd's mother got diagnosed with glioblastoma, brain tumor, and died when he was 19. Let's remove those feelings, and now let's see, can we touch his nerves? And I'm going to scream. That's who I need to talk to when I talk to my clients in order to help them.
Yeah.
But when you come in my office and you got on your eyelashes and you got your Botox and you got your hair done and you got veneers on, I can't help you. Right. Because you trying to show me what you want the world to see. And I could care less what the world sees.
Yeah.
I want to see what you see when you go home at night and you take off all that makeup, all those eyelashes, and I want to see the kid that got the cavities, because that's where your pain is.
No, that's deep right there. Getting down to the core and peeling back all of those masks and, just like you said, the representative that people put out, and then ultimately reaching that person when they're just by themselves with everything peeled back. What's one transformation story that's really kind of stuck with you from a client? I mean, obviously you don't have to give details of the person, but just kind of what's an example of something that really kind of stood out to you?
One is it was a relationship that they had with their children.
Okay.
Where, you know how, I mean, you may not personally know, but you get in a relationship early in life and you're not who you are 20 years later. You have a child. That child is basically your sibling because you don't know how to raise a child because you're basically a child.
Yeah.
And you're still hanging out in the street, or you're chasing a man, or you're chasing a woman. Now that child resents you because you weren't the mother that you were supposed to be. Now you have a new family, found God, found a job, you're stable, new kids. Those kids look at you totally different. They know a totally different mother than the mother who they had that went to the club, left them with grandmama, forgot their birthday, made it up for Christmas, forgot another, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Therefore, I had to teach that person how to remake the relationship with the child that they weren't there for. And the problem is I've tried everything, right? They just need to learn to forgive me and move on. Don't work like that.
Yeah, no.
Because you've transformed your life. You got a new husband.
Right.
You got new kids. You did a redo. She can't do the redo. She's 29.
Yeah.
You pushing 60. Her childhood can't come back.
Right.
Well, how I get a redo? You had new kids.
Yeah.
You did all the Christmases right. You did all the birthdays right. You was there at the graduation. You took them to ballet. You took them to recitals. She got none of that. She stood on grandmama's stoop while mama was out in the club. And now you telling her at 29, get over it. But when she look at your kids, she can't get over it. You can't tell her when her wound should heal. Another metaphor.
Yeah.
You go to the doctor. Hey, doc, how long you think I'm going to have these stitches? Literally. Between 4 and 6 weeks, give or take. That's the best you're going to get.
Yeah.
Because everybody heals different.
Right.
But no doctor going to say, in exactly 7 days, you can bring it. And somebody watching this to say, that's not true. I can't tell my people that. And the next person you tell that doc, he going to come back and he not going to follow your instructions.
Yeah.
He not going to put the ointment on there. He going to get it infected. And you're going to say, well, if you had to follow my directions, it would be healed by now. That's my point.
Right.
You have to say, between this time. And what I'm telling her is for the hurt that you put your child through and the neglect, you can't not tell her, get over it. And now you just need to get on board with my new kids that I did everything for and was there for and didn't abandon. And you should just become part of our family. Yeah. Slowly but surely, I started to talk to her daughter. And I'm not saying they're perfect.
But it's improved.
Yes. Because it takes time, patience, and trust. And that's what she was lacking before. And listening to her daughter tell her how devastating it was not to have her mother. And
then seeing her mother again have a redo and
Exactly.
basically provide everything that she was hoping and looking for a whole new family.
Exactly.
And then trying to say, well, you're telling me now to get over it.
Right. You redeemed yourself.
Right.
But there's nothing for your daughter to redeem because
Right.
she can't go back in time and get her childhood back.
Right.
She now has to grow up, which you couldn't do.
Right.
And accept what you did and just move on. And she can do it, but in her own time.
So everything you've been talking about, especially this, I mean, it's super, motivating and motivational, but I know that you do motivational speaking, at schools, corporations. Can you kind of just tell me a little bit about that and kind of some of the events that you've done and kind of just a little background on that?
Yeah, same thing. When I do businesses, usually they have me go there, and it's sometimes arranged with a celebration. What I mean by a celebration, like they've had a quarterly function, Christmas is coming up, something like that. So it's more like a rewarding thing. It's like I'm like a Joe to Java. I'm coming in there basically to tell them, hey, you're a part of this family. Your job is very important to you. What I mean by that is you may not like where you're at. You may say, I'm at this job now, but I'm not staying here forever. That could be true. I mean, I'm the poster child for that. I worked in 6 different police departments as a police officer. But you have to learn how to find joy and happiness at where you are in the present. Because the present is all you have.
Yeah.
That's why it's called present. I give this to you now. But most of the time, we want to look for what's coming.
Yeah.
Me and you both got iPhones. Mine right here, yours is over there.
Yeah.
But before we started this podcast, we were all talking about new iPhone coming out in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But you said it's nothing wrong with mine.
Yeah.
And I said the same thing. Enjoy the present. Because all we can hold is what's here right now.
Yeah.
I might wake up tomorrow, and you might too, or we might not.
You don't
But
know.
why worry about it? Because we here right now.
Yeah.
And what I try to tell those people at the job is you might want a bigger raise, you might want to work in a different department, and that's fine. Keep your eye on the prize. But you lose the gift that God gives you, which is just enjoy today. But you can breathe, smell, and taste. Because if you live your whole life waiting for tomorrow, you will never be happy. Because tomorrow will never come. Because even though you keep achieving, I started on an apartment, but now I got a house. But man, I went to Rancho Santa Fe. For all of you that's not in San Diego, it's $5-10 million home. It's beautiful. Right? It's the creme de la creme.
Yes, it is.
In the valley, not the ocean part. But my point is that you're never going to stop.
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be something bigger.
There's always
grander,
more.
Right? So you have to find the beautifulness in your cottage. Because if you do, then when you do get to your home in Rancho Santa Fe, you're going to love it just the same. The home is not the drywall. It's not the bricks and the mortar. It's here. And I don't care how many times you move. I don't care how many jobs you get. If you do not have peace in yourself, you'll never have it. I can't grant you peace. Your wife can't grant you peace. Your mama can't grant you peace. You know how many people are in prison right now that got good mamas, good families. People always think like they have. Nope. But they didn't have inner peace.
Yeah.
You can tell somebody, man, I love you, man. You so special. Man, I'm so proud of you that you graduated and went to school, Tim. But if you feel like, man, I still ain't what I'm supposed to, nothing matters. So that's why I tell people, spend time with yourself to fall in love with yourself. Because it's the truest love you're going to know.
Yeah.
You can't love your wife. I don't care how sexy you talk to her, how many gifts you buy her. If you don't truly love yourself, she can't even be attracted to you. How you going to know how to treat her if you don't know how to treat yourself?
Yeah, it's so true.
I think the average person should take a vacation by themselves. And I tell so many of my clients that they're like, that's stupid. It's the most beautiful thing you can do. You ain't got to worry about, I don't want to go on a hike today. I'd rather just stay in. I don't understand. Why did we take this airline? I don't like to do layovers. You know you like to do layovers. I don't mean for 2 weeks, but for 2 or 3 days. You can stay in a hotel if you want to. But if you look at your life and you say, man, every single place I look, I'm never alone. There's always somebody here. It's a deficiency in you. You feel uncomfortable being by yourself. You've built yourself up with other people's presence. And the problem with that is somebody who lost their mom at 19, one day when that person not there, who are you?
Yeah.
Now you got to start all over from scratch.
Figure it out.
As opposed to saying, this person makes me, it's like having a double battery pack.
Yeah.
But you got to have your own.
Mm-hmm.
They can't be your total power supply. And that's how most of us live. I just can't live without it. Sure you can. I live without my mama for 30 years now. Mm-hmm. Sure you can. It hurt, but sure you can. So That's what I tell them. You need to find peace and happiness. You need to understand you are an integral part of this team. Your direct boss might not tell you every single day.
Right.
But you can best believe if you're in the mailroom, if you're in IT, even if you're in human resources, everybody is an integral part, just like a family. And then we recognize the people. Like before I have this event, I'll talk to each department's managers and see like who got perfect attendance. A lot of times, people get tight in these jobs and somebody might have went out for a sickness, a family sickness, and they'll only get them so many days. And then the job will come together and put their sick days together and then give them to that person so they can stay off longer. It's stuff like that where we recognize people, because what happens in jobs is what happens in life. We become the unseen. You see the janitor at work every day, you just like, oh man, ain't nobody about the janitor. No, that's Charles. Charles got a whole family. Right. Charles got dreams. Charles not just a janitor. You just don't know that Charles is going to school. And Charles would have been a lot further, but his brother got killed or his brother got incarcerated. And unlike the selfish person that's just saying, that ain't nobody but Charles. But Charles actually more of a good person than you, because Charles didn't let his brother's child go to foster care. Right. Instead of Charles going further than he could have, he took that other child in.
He sacrificed.
But now he need more money, and he had to put off going to college. So now you laugh at the man that's 40 or 50 years old that's sweeping the floor, and you think you big shit because you up in the upper class of the company. But you ain't got no kids. Yeah. And you so selfish. Even if you did have the opportunity, would you take in somebody else's kids and put your life on hold? So I got more respect for the janitor that cleaned the toilet than I do the pretty boy that got the leather crocodile briefcase and to drive a Ferrari and think he big shit. Yeah. Give me the man with the broom. Give me the dude that cleaned the toilet, because he got more integrity and I can trust him more than I trust you.
All of that right there, I mean, is super motivational and, I mean, makes me ready to hire you, as a business and life coach. But if someone is on the fence of hiring, a coach, what would you tell them?
To invest in yourself. LeBron James spends $1 million a year on fitness, physicality, keeping his body in tip-top shape. Russell Wilson, all the top athletes, Kobe did when he was here. See, it's only so much you can do yourself, right? Most of us live like this. If I make a promise to my mother, I got to keep it. If I make a promise to my girlfriend, I got to keep it. But I told myself I'm going to start running 2 miles every day. But you know what? I don't think I'm going to do it today. See, we'll just say, it's for me, so I'll do it another day. Right. And we never actually keep our commitment. I'm there to help you keep your commitment to the most important person in your life, which is you. Most people can't do that. So I see what you don't see. When you're on the court playing as a basketball player, you don't see all the defenders. You don't see what you did wrong. You'll tell the ref all day and all night, I didn't foul him, but you did foul him. Right. It was slight, but you didn't see it. You can't do 360 on yourself. I'm looking at you from 30,000 feet, 10,000 feet, 1,000 feet. You can't do that on yourself. So if you want to optimize your life, right? If you just want to go along to get along, you want to drive with the rest of the traffic in rush hour, I'm not your guy. I tell people all the time, if I was a bus driver, a lot of people don't ride buses anymore, but those that do, when the bus comes, the doors open, whether there's somebody there or not most of the time. It's not like a train. The train will stop and sit there for 10, 15 minutes sometimes. I don't mean a metro train. I mean a train, Amtrak. But a normal metro bus will pull up, doors open. He waits, looks, doors close. That's me. I don't get off the bus. I don't say all aboard. I don't say, would like you to come and, learn this with me, or why don't you hire me? I only want to help people that want to be better and understand that they need help. It's like being a Christian. I don't tell people, you don't believe in God? If you don't believe in God, that's okay with me. I don't need to convince you. You should see God when you look at me.
Right.
When you look at my life and you say, well, how did you get this way? How did you get to this point? You should see God in me. Well, it's the same when I talk about my clients. If you don't want a better life, if you don't think you deserve a better life, if you think you can do everything on your own, I'm just going to listen to what's free on YouTube. I'm just going to listen for what's free on these things on Instagram. Go ahead. You know how many clients I've had that are overweight and they have spent every money on every diet. They get Blue Apron mail to their house. They got bikes and gyms and all kind of elliptical machines. But what does it matter?
Right. I mean, based off of all of that, you know, Todd, we really appreciate it. I mean, the information that you've given of, you know, sharing your life story and opening up, I mean, it was amazing. Talking about your law enforcement, the book, again, a must read for everyone. You know, so inspirational, so motivational. And then again, just, you know, giving insight on the life coaching. You know, we'll give your information for people to be able to, you know, reach you on your website, to be able to connect with you and, you know, help them reach the goals that they're looking for. I mean, just like you said, it's a thing where you're here to help them take it to the next level and have them invest in the most important person, which is themselves, right? I think a lot of times people feel that, you know, they want to help others, but you can't help others until you help yourself,
True.
right?
True.
So, you know, all the information that you shared with us, I mean, it's invaluable, and I appreciate you taking the time, you know, to come today and share everything. And I'm sure we'll have you back again soon. And, you know, thank you so much.
Thank you. And just for everyone out there, you can reach me at Todd, T-O-D-D, Gregory, lifecoach.com, Todd Gregory, lifecoach.com. And my book is called Tears Are the Irrigation to Our Soul. Tears Are the Irrigation to Our Soul. I'm taking new clients right now, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.